talk about the significance of what has just taken place. Mass protests in the streets toss out the long-standing president.
The biggest thing I think about the protest was the resignation of the president was the first step, and not really what the protest started out to be, and even the goal of the protest. This has been going on for, this is about a party that has been in power since the independence in 1962 from the French colonization. This has been a party and a very close circle of people where, while Bouteflika is, the face of the government and his resignation is a good first step, it's far more beyond that. And I think that's what the Algerian people are fearing from the follow-up of his resignation. And most importantly, they don't want just him to resign, but revamp the entire government and the entire constitution to make sure that this never happens again.
Well, I want to go back to some of the thousands of protesters who gathered in central Algiers to pressure the president to resign.
We came out today to show that all the people in the 48 cities reject this regime. I say to the regime that we came out here peacefully and in a civilized, democratic way. 20 years is enough, so get out. Algeria has many candidates who are competent to take on the job. Why would you stifle them in their own country? Our youth deserve a better breath of fresh air. Algeria doesn't deserve this. We deserve to live in peace.
So that's a protester, one of the many thousands demanding Bouteflika's resignation. But you say that the protests weren't just about that, or even principally about that. Can you explain?
Yeah, because the president hasn't, as you mentioned, hasn't been seen since 2013 when he had his stroke, and the entire
when you
Algerian
say hasn't been seen, we're talking about 6 years.
No, it hasn't been. It hasn't made any public appearance since 2013, before his election in 2014, and even and barely any. There's been kind of a loophole of pictures from the 90s and pictures from the early 2000s whenever they wanted to have, an appearance.
He's paralyzed, right?
He's paralyzed. He's been on a wheelchair, and
we've seen video of him in a wheelchair.
Videos of him in a wheelchair, but he hasn't been really conscious. He's been going back and forth to different countries, to Geneva and France, to make sure that, that he has a follow-up with his medical condition. And he hasn't really been in power. And I think the Algerian people really, we understand that. We know that the power is not really him. He might be the face because of his, he used to be popular in the 90s, early of his terms, and he had the will of the people. But right now, he's just the face of a corrupt government, of something that's beyond him, and that's why the Algerian people are not about. It's not about the resignation. The protest is not about him, really. It's about the circle of people under him.
Would you call what started in February a new Arab Spring? And is it true that protest is illegal in Algiers, in the capital?
Yes. So the protests are illegal in Algiers, and it has been. This is not the first protest.
Is protest illegal throughout Algeria?
No, just Algiers, the capital. But this new era of protest, the main thing that most people had shared with all on social media and everywhere with the organizers and the Algerian people was that the main thing, we need to be peaceful, not to be another Arab Spring, not to show any kind of pictures or any footage of people, destroying property or anything like that. The main thing was Salmiya, which means, peaceful throughout the entire protest everywhere. And it's not just in Algiers, but this has been a solidarity between throughout the entire country with, Algiers, Iran, multiple cities. Everyone has been out in the streets since the end of February. And the reason why I think is a little bit different than the Arab Spring is that it's not just, there's no end of just one person. They're trying to have an entire revamp on the constitution, an entire change of the power, but not just by having one person resign or even one party having to resign. It's a first step and the first kind of era for a much longer process that the people are asking for.